Hi, I'm Alistair Ben and you're watching the Zen Haggis. This week I was going to do a video about killing time, but to be perfectly honest, I just can't be bothered. This week we're back down in an area of Scotland that I grew up in, and this is my old school. This is where I spent about 4 or 5 years of my life as a teenager, and it's somewhat appropriate that it started to rain, which brings back some of the memories I had in this place. Now, the concept of killing time, I think a lot of us can relate to when we were kids and sitting in classrooms and daydreaming about things we'd be wanting to do come the weekend, or once school finished, or once our homework had done. And that concept, we learn how to kill time as children. I remember sitting in some of these classrooms, one over there in particular, and you can look right up into the mountains, and I used to daydream about striding out over the moors and up onto the cliffs and climbing or bird watching, or thinking about going off at the weekend to go bird watching, because I was an outdoor kid. Even some of the rooms in here, I used to tie flies with one of the old teachers. He used to teach us how to tie flies, and we'd go and fish in the local rivers. So I spent most of my time dreaming about being outside of the classroom, or dreaming about finishing school and going off to university, to go and live in the city, to travel, to do all these things. And I kind of look back over the 40 years since then, and all the things that I've done are maybe some of the things that I dreamed of doing. So time and planning and development is all part of balancing learning skills and developing as people so that we can do things that are interesting to us. But equally, I can look back on my life and there's an awful lot of time that I've killed. So in today's video, I don't just want to look at the concept of killing time, but how can we overcome those moments of our life where we just think, oh, what's the point? Or, what a complete waste of a day. So yeah, let's get out into the countryside, away from these hallowed halls, and maybe get out into the woods and beside the rivers where I'm more at home generally, and talk about some of these concepts. Maybe time to get out the rain as well. So let's introduce this concept of killing time. I think each of us is going to have our own definition. And for me, thinking back to when I was in school there, it was always this projecting. It was, I'm doing something that I don't particularly want to do, and I'm looking forward to doing something in the future that I'm going to do. And I think we get trained very young to do that. And as adults, as we get into our working life, I mean, how many times do we watch that clock spinning round and round and round, thinking, oh, I can't wait till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock until I can get out and do something I want to do. And then, we tend to associate useful time with leisure, hanging out with friends, drinking alcohol, partying, being out in the countryside, nature, doing things hobbies, I guess, become the focus of productive, useful time. And of course, during our working lives, we have to deliver a certain amount of productivity or we tend to get fired. But time is this concept that nails us to the ground and basically says your life is governed by time. And how we use our time and our perception of time influences our entire life. And what I want to do today is think about a different perspective. We talked in the first video, it's never too late to change. We talked in the second video about dissolving the box. And this third concept of not killing time relies on some of the same stuff. Now, as a precocious little teenage child, I used to listen to Pink Floyd, like many of my peers did at the time. And one of those songs was the song Time, which is on the album Dark Side of the Moon. And we're getting to nearly the 50th anniversary of that song now. I believe it was 72 or 73. And the words to that song are as relevant today as they were 50 years ago. And some of the key ones I want to focus on are, and then one day we'll find 10 years have got behind us. No one told us when to run. You missed the starting gun. And I used us instead of some of the other words that were accurate there. That song terrifies my son. It makes him fearful, it makes him sad. We have different reactions to that looking back at the last 10 years or 20, 30, 40, 50 years. As we reflect on the lives that we've had, we will I think most of us look back on some of that and say, well, yeah, maybe I wasted that time, or that time wasn't as productive as it would have liked. And I think most of us wish we'd spent most of our lives doing the stuff that we enjoy doing, or being more productive, personally productive, or enjoying ourselves more. Now, the key thing I want to talk about today is the starting gun. It really relies upon our perception of what time is. Now, something I was thinking about this morning when I was preparing for this video was thinking that if we were born with a little iPhone counter and it gave us the number of heartbeats or breaths that we were going to have in our entire life, and it was a countdown, so you start off with 2.5 billion heartbeats, and by the time you're my age you've obviously got quite a few less than that, but if we knew how each heartbeat was so precious to us, we would perhaps value them more, because I think it's something we take for granted. We take breathing for granted, we take our heartbeat for granted, we take the fact that we're healthy a lot of the time for granted, right up until we're not. So I think where this ties into the previous two videos is that it's never too late to change our relationship with time. It's never too late to change our relationship with our own heartbeat or our own pulse. And here's the profound kind of summary to all of this. The starting gun goes off every second of every day, every month, every year, throughout our lives. That starting gun, we can reset our entire perspective on reality at any moment in time. So the concept of missing the starting gun, we have a choice. So when we read those words, we have a choice on whether to feel sad or passionate and empowered and inflamed with determination to think, right, today's the day that I'm going to change. And we all have these New Year's resolutions. I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's all good intention, but how many people get 3 weeks into January, the first wet day, and we think, oh, I'm not going to walk down to the gym today, I'm going to get soaked, I'll just go and sit and watch Jerry Springer and eat a bag of potato chips instead. Time, every minute of every single day, we have a choice, and that choice changes the outcomes. And one of the first things I talked about at the start of the Zen Haggis was making our lives better one choice at a time. And that is really what time allows us. Every second we have an opportunity to change our relationship with the future. Not just the present, but the future, because we can change direction, this path, that path, better version of ourselves, worse version of ourselves. So killing time is synonymous with not appreciating time. Yeah. So I think this is the key thing, and definitely worth considering. So this concept of killing time is one of those things that we can really think about, and I think it's the sort of fundamental aspect of humanity. Is we spend so much of our time looking back, things we've done in our life, things, where we consider we could have done better, where we think things we've said, things we've done. And it's easy to kind of think of that as wasted time. And we do spend a lot of our time looking into the future, daydreaming, projecting forward to, I'll be happy when, my life will be better when. And we know that we never get there. The goalposts are constantly moving. That ticker tape, that tape at the end of the marathon, it's like you've got people running in front of you with the tape, and you never really quite catch up with them. Now, the concept I'm really wanting to try and get across today is that our relationship with our lives and time and our perspective of time is in constant change. We can change our relationship like that. And the thing I really want you to take away from this video is that we don't get 10 years down the line and realise we've missed the starting gun. There's a starting gun going off now and now. And I can hear it in my mind because what's coming out of my mouth just now is spontaneous. I haven't written it down, I haven't made a script, I haven't got a direction that I'm going in. And I can choose where I'm going with this sentence. And that to me is exciting, you know, because I can change my future with my choice of words. So our relationship with time is constantly fluid, and it's never too late to listen to that starting gun and change your life. Because all it is a decision. I'm not going to waste my time reading another pointless Instagram feed or a Facebook thing, or watching another wasteful video on personal development on YouTube. I'm going to go and do something useful instead. These are decisions that we have, and we can make them whenever we want. And I think we come back to that one word again, noticing. If we notice that we're not driven, or we're not excited about what we're doing, or we just feel we're killing time until we get to have another meal, or we're killing time until 5 o'clock when it's okay to open a bottle of wine, whatever these things may be, as soon as we notice these things, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to go, there we go, there's the moment, I can change. So time and our relationship with it and killing time is our choice. And if we choose to dream away the days chewing grass underneath the sunshine, then that's a perfectly okay thing to do, as long as we're not regretting that time. So thank you very much for watching. As always, we really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, dive into the comments. The comments so far have been amazing, and we've been very encouraged by all the feedback we've had with people thinking this is useful stuff. And in terms of killing time, just change your perspective, and all of a sudden time becomes this precious gift, because it really is all we've got.